Welcome back to Tales from the Infrared. I'm your host, Jim Kilvorn. Unfortunately, we've had some interesting technical difficulties. I blame Google. But we're live. We have me and also the usual suspects of Red Pill Gamers, otherwise known as Mike.
Howdy.
We have Nephenor.
No, we don't.
We
I'm
don't.
just a figment of your demented imagination.
I have a really good imagination. It's so good I can usually imagine myself.
I'm sorry to hear that.
We have Usagi.
Hello and welcome.
And we have a Catrice McLeod.
Hello.
We should have a Rachel if she ever figures out how to get in there.
Oh, she's pretty skilled at getting it in there.
So we hear. All right, so somebody else is going to have to read the show notes so I can deal with things.
I nominate Usagi.
What? Why me?
Because you're the most unprepared.
Bastard. Don't let that out. I'm always prepared.
You are not prepared!
All right, hang on. Okay. Tales from the Infrared Stories, the new Ghostbusters trailer. We take apart this trailer for the upcoming Ghostbusters movie. You might not guess how we fall on this particular movie. Marvel commits to white Iron Fist despite racist roots. Another person is bitching about not taking a white character and casting it someone who isn't white. Surprise, surprise, surprise. But hey, shouldn't we have a white man play Blade, Donna? Didn't think so. Why isn't there more diversity in anime? Some former anime watcher decides to ask what's going on to keep anime from representing people of color. Not like it's produced by a country that's almost 100% Japanese. Oh, wait. It makes me wonder how much this guy knows about Japanese culture. You're either Japanese or Gai-jin. ESL and Intel starts Esports Inclusivity project AnyKey. At first, I thought they were creating more female esports teams. Nope. They are just bringing about a group that will tell people that women and minorities need to be represented in esports. The cringe comes hard here, guys. Female Japanese representative refutes UN suggestion to ban media depicting sexual violence. After the UN basically said they want to look into banning games and manga that depict sexual violence against women in Japan, the Japanese representative came forward and gave a rather resounding no, with a lot of arguments against the UN's idea. Kick-ass Kumiko Yamada. Time to go. Nintendo under fire from British tabloid over sickle Allison rap. An employee of Nintendo of America published a paper discussing child pornography in Japan. Someone might even say that she is advocating for it. Even the president of an anti-sex trafficking organization is calling for her dismissal. Debating the truth about women in video games with Adam Covenor. Adam ruins everything. Laura Southern debates whether Adam Covenor on women and video games. And of course, Adam ruins it. Give it a watch. Worth the half hour. All this and more on Tales from the Infrared.
All right, somebody please pick a topic.
How about we just start off from the top with the Ghostbusters one, because we have to get that out of the way.
The Failbusters?
I have played the West End games, and most of them are much more interesting than what I saw in the trailer.
Do we really have to? Do we have to talk? I mean,
It's on the
I already have
schedule.
a fever and shit, man. Do we really need to talk about it? Oh,
Yes.
fucking hell.
We need you to vomit like Slimer in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's not Slimer.
I'm just
Only
gonna say-
if I get to vomit on the cast.
I'm gonna say at the start, I called this like 6 months ago. Probably longer. It might have been a year.
We all did. We all did. It's just really, really terrible. I mean, I think the worst part was licking the goddamn particle accelerator thing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Tom
really?
and nuclear devices do not mix.
Well, they do if you're really kinky. Right,
Yeah,
Rachel?
but
Like, it actually doesn't look like it'll be a bad movie or anything. It just looks like it's gonna be very generic action.
Oh, it looks like it's gonna be terrible.
It doesn't look like it's going to have.
Some
I don't know. It's not going to be Ghostbusters at the very least. Like, the very essence of what makes Ghostbusters is largely self-depreciating humor based on the concept that any reject can save the world if they try hard enough and stick to it. And then you look at, like,
yeah.
what they have now, and the trailer, like a quarter of the trailer was spent going on about girl power and all, like, they're so smart and they're like the best in their fields and they're the best people out there, and it's like nobody knows more about like physics than you, and you people are all so smart, and it's like you're missing the whole point of what made it Ghostbusters.
Well, what made
Yeah.
Ghostbusters really good in the past was you had basically a con man, a naive individual, and
I'd say too naive.
well, I was going to say, and then a
every
guy
power
who's
person.
too smart, who's so smart he's stupid.
Yeah. And then you actually had the black guy who was not a stereotype. He was the only sane man.
Yeah, he was the
like
voice of
he was
common
the-
sense in the whole movie.
Yeah, and they replaced the actual, decently written black man with
A stereotypically
obnoxious
black
stereotype.
woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they've
Get out of my friends, Mac.
They've totally digressed. They haven't made like bounds towards equality. They've gone backwards from the 70s.
80s. The original Ghostbusters was 82.
84.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a bit before that. Okay,
No,
never mind.
80s. And anyway, if we want to go back to the 70s, that's when we get blaxploitation like Shaft.
You're damn right.
I made
And
Are we
Rachel.
going to start talking about Shaft? I thought we weren't supposed to talk about Shaft.
Well, Shaft is
He's
better
a
than.
bad
I'm only
mother.
talking about Shaft.
Well, with this trailer, I think what could have saved it is actually casting good female actresses, because just looking at them and just looking at what they've done, most of their work is just blah at best.
Actually, they would have done better if they'd gotten better writers.
Yeah.
Well, that would have helped a lot too. That
Well,
would save
there's
bad
a
acting.
minor problem. There's a minor problem with that. Harold Ramis is dead.
Yes, that is true.
No,
Are
he's
you
just doing.
sure that Harold Ramis could actually have saved this movie?
That's a good point.
He's just doing better research right now.
It's
No,
definitely
no,
better than
no, no,
Smoke and
no,
Spirit.
Now,
Maybe
May
they
his
should.
paranormal
maybe they
energy
should have
be
a-
a Twinkie the size of a bus and weigh 400 tons.
Maybe,
does.
maybe what they need to do is they just need to have a seance and contact Harold Ramis
and have him
and
write
ask
it.
him how he could have saved this movie.
Wait, a Ouija board writing session.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, is if you look at the trailer, last I checked, it was like 1/3 positive, 2/3 shitting on it, and that a lot of comments were being deleted from it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sony is desperate to cover
Yep.
that.
Sony was deleting nuking things from orbit.
I forget who it was. It was either the director or the producer was going on saying, like, if you don't like the trailer, then you're a misogynist.
All the more
I
reasons
don't
to not
remember
like it.
Yeah.
which it was. It was one or the other, and I forget which.
Wow, that must make my sister the biggest misogynist, because she says this looks like absolute fucking crap.
You made
Well,
me
there's also
turn misogyny.
Mary Sue was saying,
Exactly.
those who don't like the trailer, there's a special place in hell for you.
Is that the special place that's reserved for child molesters and people who talk in the theater?
No, actually, I think it's reserved for. It's right next to the one where for women who don't vote for Hillary.
Ah.
So it'll be pretty full.
You know what? If that's the situation, I think we're going to be okay down there in hell, because all the best people are going to be down there with us.
Yep.
Well, there is
Even
an old saying: you go to heaven for the weather and hell for the company.
No, you go to hell for the party.
Because it's so much easier to
Yeah.
cook for multiple people.
Don't you mean to cook multiple people?
Yes.
Yay! I'm sorry if I missed my cue. I'm kind of out of it.
Yes, we might lose a Rachel due
Right.
to lack of health.
Yeah. Yes, I need more health potion.
More health.
Like, does anyone?
I'm sorry, Rachel, but we're out of health.
Yes.
No, but
I have a
to
mana potion you can have.
No.
No, she needs a red potion, not a blue potion.
Though I think that might be the issue with trying to talk about this movie, or I'm calling it a movie generously because it just doesn't even look good. Like, it seems like they're, even with the trailer, they're trying just to hit nostalgia without even coming even close to it. Like that first scene, reminiscent of the first scene in the first
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, and then everything else is like, are you trying to be Michael Bay now?
Michael
Well-
Bay's potions?
The thing with it is, if you watch the trailer, it even mentions the old Ghostbusters 30 years ago. 4 scientists saved New York. Well, first off, it wasn't 4 scientists. It was 2 scientists, a con man with 2 PhDs, and a normal guy.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't even watch the original movie to know how it worked or what was in it, or
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds almost like they read like half the Wikipedia page and then based a new movie on it.
You know, we are talking about people whose primary source of research is the Wikipedia, so that's entirely possible.
That's more research than they've mostly done most of the time.
Yeah, and the fucking casting on this damn thing. Like, whose idea was that? Seriously,
Well-
you'd be better off with relative unknowns than picking these fucking actors, because those people would have at least some kind of idea of comedic timing.
They do
When
have
these
Thor for the
fuckers-
chicks.
But
Yeah, that's the only thing that they've probably got that people are going to, some people will enjoy is, yes, we can look at Thor. Ooh, look at him.
Well,
He's so key.
the thing with it is they care more about the eye candy in Thor than they do actually decent. Yeah, for lack of a better way, actual decent. Oh God, what's the word I'm looking
Actors?
for?
Sorry?
Decent plot, decent story. That's the word I was going for. Decent story.
Dialogue.
I have 3 words. I have 3 words to sum up my distaste of all this shit. Ghost bear trap.
Shut up.
Ghost.
That does not exist.
Bear
that
trap.
does not fucking exist. I don't give a damn if it was shown in the trailer. It does not exist.
Hey, I got 3 words. Told you so.
Actually, I got 3 words. Total bullshit.
Regarding the choice of actors,
We
my
triggered
3 words would not bang.
I don't know. The one I would bang, but only once and then kick her out.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but that's pretty much common for you, Jim.
That's true. That's true.
We triggered.
We trigger Mike all the time. Come on.
No, the thing is, if you triggered my sister with this shit, that's what's worse.
Oh dear, we
Tell her
wound
I'll
up
make
a
it up
bunch
to her
of-
tonight.
Sorry.
Ooh, mama, baby.
Sorry.
Ooh,
He's got a
mama,
death wish.
baby.
Yes, actually, it has been established. I have a death wish. For those who haven't realized that.
You flirt. You not only flirt with death. You try to. You treat her like she's a pickup artist. But then again, I like Neil Gaiman's version of death.
He's trying to French death. We got it.
Yeah.
French her. I'm trying to bend her over and screw her on the back. Come on.
Hey! If you're gonna French death, you're gonna have to fight Deadpool for it.
Well, I'm talking about the Neil Gaiman version of death from Sandman. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the Deadpool version of death, where when he makes a rude comment like it's too big, and Death actually says, "That's what she said."
All right. You know what? I think we've annihilated this one a little too much. Let's move forward.
Wait. Did we totally neutralize it?
We are not crossing the streams right now, Neff.
That's
okay, because if we did, Lauren might get in the way.
Oh.
Tuna box, ready to go. They be fat, we be fast, and they be slow.
If somebody asks if you're God, you say
yes. Yeah. Okay, hold on.
Memorable.
No.
I'm waiting for the dead horse to be beaten. Okay, there we go. We beat the dead horse.
I think we've had enough beating off the dead horse.
Yeah. With the electrified dildo?
Okay.
White Iron Fist?
Okay, we'll
just fist it? Just a white fist?
Let's just fist it right there. Yes, we're moving into fisting, ladies and gentlemen.
We did warn you. You would be triggered in one way or another.
All right, so apparently Marvel decided to actually go with canon and make Iron Fist white, despite people getting upset about Iron Fist being white.
My God, they're going with canon. How dare they?
Woo!
I thought they actually talked about this. Didn't he a few months ago? That we're going to stay with canon. And
I like cannons. They're great for firing people out of.
Yeah, and apparently we've targeted a couple of social justice warriors on this.
Good.
Yeah, hopefully we hit them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, usually they're big enough that we can't miss.
What else is there to be said about this other than the fact that we knew that it was completely ridiculous to begin with, because the character was originally white, and the whole thing was that some people were all like, "Oh, he uses martial arts, therefore he should be Asian."
No.
What?
There are some people in Marvel. I mean, there are some of us, some Caucasians who are actually pretty good at martial arts. Can we say Chuck Norris?
Yeah, but remember, he was taught by an Asian.
Chuck Norris,
Yeah, true,
Jason
but
Statham.
He still practices it.
Well, that's
I mean,
just cultural appropriation at that point.
It was the frickin' 60s and 70s. Perhaps even earlier. This is one of those things I have to say, suck it up, Buttercup. You don't write comic history. Start your own multi-billion-dollar company.
That's too much work. Come on, you gotta pander to morons who don't touch the subject material at all. Come on.
Fuck you, Sabu.
Come on, it's like making a movie of Lone Wolf and Cub and then casting what? White people? Come on.
Well, the Lone Wolf and Cub have actually been kind of a meme throughout most of a lot of movie history. Let's start with The Professional.
Mm.
And actually, it's another cyberpunk topic. But get over it, you twits. If you're not part of the culture, maybe you shouldn't talk about it. Maybe you shouldn't be offended by it.
Like all these social justice warriors trying to talk about how we need to ban Asian culture.
Because they can't control it.
And because they're telling the UN, fuck you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And it was a woman that...
Segway.
Ultimate segue. Hit 2 topics at once.
Yes. I'm up for yay Japan.
Yeah. Hell yeah. In fact, for those who are not familiar with Mombot on Twitter, she is a Japanese woman who is pro-Gamergate, and she has been actually talking to a lot of Japanese devs and getting them on board with Gamergate, the concept of it, and some of them have been making some really strong stuff in favor of it, and the tide is turning in Japan. They are getting sick of what is going on over here.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, good.
Wait a minute.
Well, yeah, it's
So
going
they're
to
finally
destroy
joining
their
in with
bottom
the
line.
normal people?
Yep.
That, and note that Japan for the longest time has been like really infatuated with like North American culture, just as a lot of North Americans have been infatuated with Japanese culture. It's kind of a cultural exchange of sorts. But ours is kind of starting to go insane, and they're like, we don't want anything to do with this. Well,
Yeah, this is where...
It's starting to bleed over into theirs, is the problem.
And they are actually putting a line in the sand saying, fuck you, Cebu, stop this shit.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
okay.
one of their biggest cultural differences is they can explore topics that North America has been scared to. And now North America and apparently the UN are like, well, you shouldn't be allowed to do that anymore. And it's like...
Piss off is the best response.
No. Yeah, piss off works.
Yeah.
I think piss off is the only logical response to it. First off, you have other people telling you how to live your life. My opinion on that is always going to be the best response is piss off.
Well, you can always piss on too.
We're not getting into Lauren Southern's private life, all right?
Hey, just because she's an R. Kelly fan.
For those of you who haven't heard, Lauren Southern went to a protest last night and got piss thrown on her.
Well, we assume it's piss. We don't know for sure.
She just engaged in water sports. It's okay. It's cool.
Okay, so she touched the poop. We got you. Metaphorically.
Hey, you know what? You know what? I have no problem with her being into water sports. If that's her kink, she's more than welcome to do that. Not my thing. Still wouldn't kick her out of bed, but,
What, you need a bed warmer?
I always need a bed warmer.
Who doesn't need a bed warmer? At least it's a dry... let's put it this way. Put a dry warm, please.
Yeah, see, I prefer a dry bed warmer. That's, Sagi,
You have to
kind
put
of on the
that
same
limiter
page.
on it here. We are talking water sports.
Yeah.
Way back a bit, that's the kind of thing that would have been banned by the UN in Japan. Like, they would have considered that to be sexual violence, like pissing on someone or something. And it's like, well,
But
you're
it's
not
only
allowed to have a manga about that or hentai or anything like that. And it's like, their argument in return is that it's not real, it's fantasy, please go away. This isn't hurting real people. And the fact that you can't tell the difference between reality and fiction kind of scares us.
That scares a lot of people.
Yes, I would have to agree with that.
Sagi here who can't tell the difference between a rabbit and a real rabbit.
Hey now, remember, this imaginary rabbit's armed with 2 swords and a dragon on the 6.
Yeah,
Too bad it's an imaginary sword.
See, real rabbits
Swords.
don't dual wield. They only carry the one sword in their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it with
Are you
human
saying?
fictional rabbits?
No, that's racism right there. Rabbits can't be samurai. What the hell?
Are you saying that rabbits aren't capable of being samurai? That is racism right there.
Speciesism?
Run that. Say again, Kat.
Wouldn't that be speciesism?
Yeah, I mean, come on. They have a rhino that carries a two sword, and he's disabled. He lost a horn. Poor Gen.
Yeah, but that's like losing a tooth. That doesn't really leave you disabled as such.
I wouldn't tell Gen that one.
Yeah, well, I'm telling him.
Lots of luck. Have fun.
Also, I'm telling you something in chat, so.
All right, so we have currently kind of gotten off topic. I'm going to yank us back onto topic. You know, unfortunately,
Jim, that's disgusting.
I always yank
This
it.
is a family show.
This is not. It's 18 and over. We can show boobs.
Oh,
Rachel?
Stop.
I like how I'm exempt from this.
What? Wait, what?
The reason why you're exempt
No.
from this is because we.
Because Rachel's stolen the draw today.
It's not in my contract. It's not in my contract.
You revised your contract.
When you agree, you can't always
my
click.
consent.
You can't always click yes to things, Rachel. It automatically updates.
When I say that it's not in my contract, it means I didn't actually sign a contract. Right?
Well, you clicked the license agreement, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's okay. I have altered the agreement. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Alright, Vader, fuck you.
Hey.
If you strike
Don't
me
go after
down,
Darth Cat.
I'll be stronger than you can imagine.
Okay, back to Japan actually telling
Actually showing that they
the
still have
UN
testes.
to fuck off.
The fuck off?
No.
Well,
They
they
didn't
tell
just
everybody
tell
pretty much
people to fuck off. They told the UN to fuck off.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, the UN is full of shit. It's full of
Anyone who
shit these
listens to
days.
Anita Sarkeesian, they deserve to be told to fuck off.
Agreed. But it's just the fact that, you're having a very small country that most of its money comes from importing goods and creating something else out of it.
Yeah, there's not exactly a lot of natural resources there.
Yeah, and they're still as shit.
They have to base it on, exports of artwork and literature and stuff, because you can produce that on a computer pretty much free of charge almost.
So, they're basically in a very bad situation and turning around and saying, go fuck yourselves. That right there is
And
wrong.
they actually made it more logical than what the two twits, the two triggered twits did. They say it's an economy. It's worth billions. It is essential to our employment. Also, a lot of women actually draw this stuff. That's the punchline. A lot of the nasty stuff you write is actually drawn by women.
Yeah,
There's an employment portion.
The argument that they're giving is that, okay, so let me get this straight. You want to harm actual women so that you can protect imaginary women.
Well,
I don't fucking think so.
Hold on. I want to point something out, and this kind of goes back to the Gamergate's arguments against Anita. You think by protecting imaginary women, a lot of whom are actually created by real women, is going to somehow protect real women. Somebody please tell me the logic there.
There is no logic.
There's logic.
That would be a nice time to segue. I'm saying now would be a nice time to segue into the whole question of why isn't there more diversity in anime? Gee, I don't know. Because most of the people fucking around them. Because it's fucking Japan.
Well,
and they don't have a lot of black people
Japan?
and Hispanic people and stuff like that around.
well,
And when they typically do, depict foreigners, it's often very racist.
Stylized?
Seriously racist. Really?
They love our big eyes.
Or at least
Actually, they
stereotypical.
love my big eyes because I got bigger eyes than all of you humans.
But, well, like was said earlier, though, Japanese culture basically is either A, traditional Japanese, or B, based on Western values as well, because they're kind of infatuated with our culture just as we're infatuated with theirs. So you basically have the predominant groups are either A, Japanese, or B, white. That's basically it, because they don't have any real dealings with any other country for the most part. It's not exactly like you have like a Africa is able to afford to buy like manga and anime and stuff.
Oh, I do have something that's interesting to look up. Do look this up sometime. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but there is like a subgenre where there are actually Japanese people who are our equivalent of Wiggers, basically, who actually want to be black people.
Well,
yes, I've seen it. It's very disturbing.
The thing with it is they love American culture quite a bit. They are so fascinated with it. When sailors and soldiers are stationed over there, Japanese businessmen and women will sit there and tell these American soldiers and sailors, I have this friend, I have this sister, I have this cousin, you would like her.
Because they're also in a population decline, and they know it as well.
Well, it's not so much the population decline. This was 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Well, there's also the issue that they do actually happen to like people that happen to look like they're wealthy, can support a family. Like, they do have very strong traditional values there still when it comes to like a family and such. They kind of have to, otherwise they'd pretty much be extinct at this point.
This is true. But
Yeah.
the thing with it is
right now.
they're so into American culture. They want Americans as part of the family. They want to send their own family over into America.
Oh, the way they go after baseball, they love it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have never seen a culture that is so enamored with America as...
I know, they're even more enamored than Americans are.
Yes, they really are. I've had
and you guys are really in love with yourself.
I've had numerous conversations on comic books with numerous nerds over the decades, and they are at least as passionate about baseball as most comic book nerds are. At least.
And some of their teams have got some pretty damn good players on them too, despite being slightly shorter than most Americans.
Yeah. The thing with the Japanese culture is they go all out.
They're not just
Hear that, Rachel? They go all
burnout.
out.
They're not only fans, they're rabid fans.
Very much so.
They're rabbit fans?
Yes, they're rabid.
That is kind of a drawback, though, too. Like, you're noticing that a lot of their problems right now are because they're going all out to the point of burnout.
I'm not saying it's the best thing in the world, but I am going to point out that this is how they are. Is there something wrong with it? Well, that's debatable.
Well, if you take anything to extremes, it can have some negative consequences go with it. But it can also have some benefits that you only see at the extreme values as well.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is, I mean, the whole corporate salaryman thing is the reason why we have grass eaters. They saw their parents burn out. Why the hell do we want to do that as well? So, I mean...
Well, that's part of it. There's a lot of other complex things that go into it. But, yeah, the idea of I'm going to work myself into the ground and no one's going to appreciate me for it. I'm not going to have any time alone. I'm never going to be able to do anything I want. Like, it's pretty common there, for example, for like a man to work. He comes home, gives all of his money to his wife. His wife gives him allowance for him to spend on his own personal hobbies and stuff. And a lot of them are just looking at that and saying, well, if I work half as many hours and don't have a wife, then I can
Keep it all.
grant myself all the money I want. Like,
Well, if they're but at the same time, if they're working half as many hours without a wife, it's a huge pay raise for them. In a lot of cases.
Hell,
Yeah.
it's a pay raise if they if they work a quarter of the hours.
Yeah, and this is the thing a lot of people don't seem to understand is when you're sitting there and you're handing over 80% plus of what you earn working 80 hours a week, at some point you've got to ask yourself, why am I doing this?
well, the problem is, it's like, what good is having all that money if you never have time to spend it and you don't even get to spend it because your wife spent it for you? And it's like, what's the benefit? Like, especially if the only argument is you can say is, well, it keeps her happy, but if it doesn't keep her happy, then you didn't do even that.
Well, I'm going to sit there and argue even further. Regardless of whether it keeps her happy or not, at what point do we sit there and say, it's not my responsibility for someone else's happiness?
I think that's one of the values that's been coming across that is making the grass eater movement that much stronger, is the fact that they're realizing, hey, we're doing this and we're not getting anything from it.
Well, that's one of the things as well. You can't make somebody happy. You can provide things that might make them happy, but they have to make the choice to be happy. If they want to be miserable, there is nothing you can do to change their mind. They will be miserable, and it doesn't matter how much time, money, effort, or affection you throw their way. If they want to be pissed off, they will be.
Yeah, Rachel, don't be pissed off.
I choose vanilla.
I choose a good anime.
I choose Pikachu.
I choose pizza.
I just,
Pizza is good.
But the fact that they stood up to the UN and said, "Fuck you, Sabu."
or at least some of them did. Now, interestingly enough, there's another topic we have that's actually very similar. It's the Nintendo one.
Yes,
Which has
Nintendo.
a lot of parallels, oddly enough.
Explain.
Well, okay, look, like, the one thing that we were on a moment ago was basically the UN's like, yeah, you shouldn't have sexual violence towards women in, like, your anime or your manga or any of your media, basically, at all. Now, what they're saying on the Nintendo one, she kind of flops around, and it's hard to, like, I tried reading her thing, and I have a hard time actually following what she's saying. Sometimes she says something that I can agree with, is that basically if it's not happening to a real child, if it's just like child pornography in quotation marks from that's happening to anime and manga and stuff like that, then once again the argument is it's not happening to a real person. So you have to carry over the same principle that if it isn't hurting anyone, then that's kind of a reasonable argument to make. The problem with her is that between her like rants and stuff, it's not consistent to just the anime and the manga and stuff. Like, as far as I can tell, she's also including actual minors, in which case that's a big no-no.
Well, as we've been seeing from a lot of the social justice warriors, they seem to have this problem with pedophilia within their ranks.
Oh God, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I don't understand it. They remove all agency totally from women, but children are given more than adult women.
Well, don't you know that that's the way they view women?
As less than children, it seems.
Yep.
That kind of bothers me.
Well, actually, if you really think about it, that's nothing more than the traditional mindset, because the children are more important than the parents.
Well, I guess we should stop saying women and children first. We should just say children first.
Well, I'm not. I'm not.
And then,
gonna
of
go
course,
into
the social justice warriors will say, "Do you think there's time?"
well,
no.
I'm not
The joke is,
Or they'd say
fuck the children. Do you think there's time?
But the thing with it is all of that is very badly thought out, because at one point the reasoning for the children, the reasoning for the women and children first is children were still had a lot of time to live,
Still had potential.
Women had the ability to continue on
The species.
procreating and are the limiting factor of the species. So, I mean, it literally makes sense to say women and children first because, more potential later on. Not necessarily a bad argument.
Yeah, you only really need one man to survive to
A couple men.
repopulate. Well, a couple, but...
Well, yeah, genetic diversity, you do need some men, but you need far less men.
You can borrow those from other tribes. The point is, you only need, absolute maximum one man to at least have some more children produced.
Take a look at what Genghis Khan did.
But the point of...
God knows how many kids.
My point being that, it takes far less men than it does women to continue the species.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we should be sitting there and saying, hey, get rid of these, don't worry about men. It's like, men human beings. That's something the men's rights movement has been trying to get through people's skulls for a while, is that men are human beings. If we're to truly say we care about humanity, we should be caring about everybody, period.
Well, there's another argument here. The whole women and children first was an important thing from a survival standpoint. We are no longer at a point where it is necessary. There are more men and women on this planet than we can reasonably sustain, so why the hell are we still trying to worry about surviving when we are doing well above that?
I would also note one more thing on top of that, is that it's women and children first. Not period, not women and children period, but women and children first. And if possible, make sure that the men get to safety as well.
Right.
Yeah.
They still cared about men, it's just they cared about men less than women and children, but they still
Or they're
cared
covering
about them.
women and children's escape.
Yeah. Now it's more like women and children, period, and we don't really care if the men make it out at all. And that's kind of a disservice to men, where it's like, well, you were born, so we don't really care if you live or die. Just of the fact that you were born a guy, and that's kind of cruel.
I wouldn't go kind of. I would say it's much more actually cruel. But my point, I get your point, and my point still being that if we're to say we actually care about human beings, we really should care about human beings, all of them.
That's why I don't care about human beings. Fuck humans.
Oh, so you're going to watch the Zootopia movie then?
No, I'm just going to nuke the planet from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
There are times I have to agree with that assessment.
only times.
Sadly. Sadly, very sadly, yes.
Every day. Every day I'm nuclear.
I don't know, I'd like to think that it's not a perpetual thing, that it really is. There are times I think it's a good idea, but there's a lot of times that there is hope for humanity still.
Oh, there's always hope for humanity. I will never say that there's not hope for humanity. But the vast majority of the times you sit there and you watch humanity and you're just like, yeah.
Please give him a fork with a light socket.
Well, no, it's please remove all warning labels and let Darwin take over.
Hand out the Darwin Awards.
Do not stop chain with hands or genitals.
When I first saw that one, I'm just like, oh god.
Someone actually no.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had to swallow just to get him back out again.
All right. We've gone like way off topic.
Wait, there was a topic.
And yeah, there was. And we're gonna kick Rachel out because she's complaining and she needs to get some sleep. Go home, Rachel.
Night.
Go home, gamer girl.
Night, everybody. I'm gonna sweat off this fever. I'll see you guys.
Hey, the only cure, I've got a fever, and the only cure is more cowbell.
Oh. Alright.
Okay.
Rachel's gone.
That's
Now we can talk about the Inclusivity project.
Now that we've kicked the woman out.
Now that we've kicked the female out. We're going to talk about inclusivity. There we go. I'm sorry that this annoyed me. You know, I don't have a problem with getting more girl teams in esports. That's great. More minority gamers in esports. That's great. Nobody fucking cares.
Wait. Hold on a second. More minorities in esports. Like, I don't know, Koreans in StarCraft?
Oh, let's not even go there. Not right now. We'll go there in a second. But let me finish my ranting here for a second. Most gamers don't care. We don't give flying fuck number one about what nationality you are. We really only care, are you any good? And in esports, that's taken a couple levels beyond, because the whole point of sports is to win.
Yeah, and beyond that, it's to the extreme levels. We only care about the people at the very absolute top of the game. If you're not in like the top 0.1%, nobody really cares. Like, even 0.1%, most people don't care. It's like 0.001%. You have to be the absolute best of the best before you even get like looked at all. Like, nobody cares about like the third best team. It's like the top two teams that are fighting each other, and that's just to see which of them ends up number one. Nobody cares about number three.
Well,
we want to be the very best, the best that ever was.
Well, I'm going to sit there and look at, say, the NFL. You know, nobody cares about the teams that got beaten in the AFC and NFC championships. Nobody even cares about the loser of the Super Bowl. All the products and stuff get sold from the team that wins the damn Super Bowl. They only care about the team that wins the Super Bowl.
Same thing with the Olympics. It's gold medal or bust.
Yeah. Same thing with the Olympics. It's the gold medal. Same thing with the NBA. It's the NBA championship team that everybody likes. That's where the bandwagon is.
Now here's the problem with the inclusivity issue. Is when you're looking for esports, it has to be the absolute top. The absolute best is where you get your interest from. Now when you look at like the male gamers, they have to reach number 1 to get any attention at all. Every single time you have one of these situations where they have like a big event and then you have like an all-female team, everybody interviews the all-female team, and the all-female team usually comes in pretty close to last because they don't have that pressure to be the absolute best because they're going to get the attention just for showing up. And as long as that is the case, they will never be the best because they have no burning need to be the best because they don't have to be.
Yeah, no incentive.
Yeah, it's a major incentive issue. It's like the Guildmaster's girlfriend situation where like you'll have like a rating group on like an MMORPG. We'll say World of Warcraft just for the sake of argument. You'll have like 25 people have to do like this horribly complex raid. They've been dumbed down, but you get the idea. And you get 24 people that are absolutely awesome. They've worked hard to get there. And then you have like the guild leader, and he brings his girlfriend in who doesn't try very hard. She doesn't really try to learn. Even the other women that are there are like, we don't like her because she's getting us killed because she never needed to learn to be better because she knows that she always has a place reserved for her because she's the Guildmaster's girlfriend.
Well, there's more to this than that. But yes, that is kind of like that. And it starts making people wonder if the women in esports are only there for the attention and not actually to compete.
There are some there that really are there to compete. There are some that will look at it and say, nobody thinks I can do this. That's just that much more pressure for me to be that much better than everybody else. So you will get the occasional one who will be like, they'll understand that that is their burning desire to be the best, and that will push them up to the top. But it has to come from a sense of needing to prove themselves. If you try to force inclusivity, like, say, just giving free passes to minorities and women to get there, you've basically taken away the one incentive they had to be their best.
Well, when you look at this, the whole point of this is Intel and the Esports League is creating what's the word?
They're not even creating a league. They're just creating like a thing telling people that they should have more. They're not actually making like a all-female league where at least you'd have like the absolute top of all the female gamers would be fighting over it. In which case, they'd actually have some pressure to, try to be useful because they wouldn't be competing. They wouldn't be able to just say, well, I just showed up, so I got attention. It's like, no, you actually have to get to the top over these other women. Like, you can't use your gender to hide behind it now. You actually have to be the best you can. That would actually be useful, but that's not what they're doing.
Agreed.
They're just telling everyone else to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So which I would say, put your money where your mouth is, do it yourself, or shut up.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, I think we're beating the dead horse again. Is there anything else?
It's still alive! Kick it again!
I'm not dead yet. I feel much better.
It's still twitching. Beat it some more.
I feel happy!
It's still twitching. Beat it some more. All right, the last one I've got on here is the debating the truth about women in video games with Adam Conover.
Debating in quotation marks. I watched that video.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I like Lauren Southern. She's an interesting person. I got to talk to her at a Gamergate in LA meetup, She's a very interesting young lady. However, throughout this whole thing, it was she says something, Adam makes a point, and she's just like, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't really.
It wasn't a debate.
No, it definitely wasn't. Like, what I noticed was Adam would state what the point he's trying to make is, but he would never actually make the point. He would just say, like, I believe that marketing causes women to not want to play video games. But he never actually made anything to support his argument. He just said, this is the point I'm going to make, but he never made it. In contrast, Lauren Southers did almost the opposite. She was very muddled in what she was trying to say. She never clearly presented what she was talking about. She referenced, like, evidence and stuff and used, like, statistical data or mention, like, studies that had been done. So she had the point being made, but she never said what the point she was trying to be made was. She just kind of made it haphazardly, and it was really messy on both their parts.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to have a debate, you're going to call something a debate, and Lauren, I'm calling you out on this one. You got to actually have a debate, make some points. If you've got some evidence proving your point, great. Include it.
It definitely wasn't a debate. It was more of an interview that was pressed for time as well. Like, they rushed through questions, and, like, she'd ask a question, he'd answer it, and then she'd come up with the next question was basically like, what do you think about this evidence? And he'd basically avoid it and not answer. And she hadn't really made her point either, because she didn't say what her belief on the evidence was or what the evidence meant. She just kind of dumped it out there, and that was it. And I was like, this is a mess.
It sounded like you need more of a referee to make sure things would stay on topic, because I agree. I was trying to listen to it and was like, what the fuck are you jabbering on about? Was all I could really be thinking in my head. Like, I know what you're trying to say, but, like, someone smack you in the back of the head to get it out of you.
Yeah, I think a lot of the problem was just that it was a very short time frame. Mm-hmm. They didn't have anything coordinated. It wasn't set up as a debate. It was just set up as a really flimsy interview. There was some interesting points brought up, but they were never explored, so it didn't go anywhere.
Well, this seems more like an intellectual talk on an issue more than actual debate, and that's probably what made it even worse. Is like they have ideas out there, and she has the data. He's making assertions. Like that seemed more like a better off a two-man team discussing a topic.
Yeah, they needed to actually put something more forward. Like, actually, we could probably even go into that. Like, the biggest question that was added in the entire thing, like, between both of them, was basically the question of, well, which came first? Did women not want to play games, or was it a matter of the marketing only aiming towards men? And that's basically the question. They ran around in circles and beat around the bush, but they never actually really looked at it. Like, they directly asked each other a couple of times, but they never answered it.
Well, the thing I saw was, he was sitting there saying that it was the fault of the marketing that women weren't into video games. But the problem I see is women were still into video games even though it wasn't marketed to them.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so that disproves at least a little bit of the whole marketing strategy.
Lauren did bring up some other information as well. She mentioned that there was a couple of studies where, like, children were found to have certain preferences even before they're socialized. Like, we're talking, like, hours after birth.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, they showed the mobile and they showed a human face, and the kids acted completely different.
Yeah, there's another one as well where they set out, like, a group of toys. There's, like, 4 male stereotypically male toys and 4 stereotypically female toys, and then 2 that are sort of generic in the middle, and they'll just set like a baby that's a few hours old in between them and see which one it goes for. And that does make a difference. And something like that, it's like you can tell before they've had any socialization at all. They've never even seen a TV screen. They've never seen a billboard in their life. They're already making decisions on what their preferences are. So there is some difference in there.
Well, I think when it comes down to something like this, people are terrified to talk about biological pushes and drives because we saw that same thing happen within late 1800s and 1900s and 20th century. We saw this huge, like, oh, everything's biology, and I think this is just a backlash, like they're like social construct, and that's why they were making that argument of, is it media that influences people, and it's getting ugly because people don't want to openly admit there's this biological push in people. The question's the degree.
Well, I think that's the bigger question. Is it's the nature versus nurture question is the degree to which nature and the degree to which nurture affects us, and how much of an interplay there is between the two.
I would say it's like a multiplicative factor. Like your nature is your base value, and then like your nurture is a multiplier on top of it. If you start with 0 interest in something, it doesn't matter how big the multiplier is. Anything multiplied by 0 is still going to be 0. So,
are you saying that women are zeros?
Oh my god.
I wouldn't say that, but I could.
Well, social justice warriors certainly are.
You're saying a lot of them have 2 massive zeros.
No. Not massive zeros. Boobies! Oh, wait.
Yes.
No.
Where are the boobies? Where are the boobies?
Yeah, I had to make a boob joke.
You failed on the boob joke.
I know.
Do you like boobs a lot?
Don't make me sing the song of my people.
Well, you know what? If you sing the song of your people, I'm going to have to end it right after that. But so I'm going to.
Thanks for watching, folks.
I like boobs like big ones, small ones, ones, hard ones.
Okay, you know what? I don't think we can go anywhere else after that. We've had the boob song today, so I'm going to ask for final thoughts, and we're going to get out of here way early, but hey, what the hell? So, final thoughts from
Have we beaten everything to death?
No, I think there's a couple that are still twitching. I could sit there and talk on the whole anime being racist and whatnot for a little
Hang
while.
on, let me go take care of that here. Okay, they're dead.
That's racist.
Okay, whatever. So I'm going to start off. Final thoughts with Nephenora since Rachel's no longer here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I took her out back, and I did manly things to her.
Which she probably didn't enjoy, you know.
Well, no, they were anal, so she did.
Okay, fair enough. Kat, you got anything for us?
Told you so on Ghostbusters. Chilling for the Seorsa project that I'm working on. That's about it.
Shill your project before we go. We have time.
Yeah, shills. But yeah, I'm working on a tabletop role-playing game, so look at Seorsa.info, and I'll have new videos up on YouTube shortly as well. I just haven't finished editing them yet, is all.
All right. Usagi, do you want to shill or say anything? Dead horse some more?
No, all I say is go Japan.
Mike?
Other than I've been sick, so I'm going to try to get back on my own track, and with all this stuff, always try to use common sense, and if you're ever questioning if it's racist, sexist, bigoted, flip it around or add a Jew in there, and if it sounds wrong, you know it's wrong.
That's right.
Well-
Be racist and sexist towards the Jews.
And squeeze some boobs for your health.
Yes. My
if I cook this pizza in the oven?
Why not? Grilled pizza's delicious.
my final thoughts are boobs. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us, rambling on and having a few laughs. We enjoy doing this.
Fine.
We also enjoy talking about boobs. Anyway.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Wait, there's other things than boobs?
Yeah.
Apparently. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's been wonderful. Enjoy your weekend. And don't forget to take the red pill.